Hello everyone, I'm Rachel and welcome to the Economic Corner, where we update you on all the biggest global economic announcements. Let's get started with today's show. First up on the Economic Corner, the Reserve Bank has held official interest rates steady at a record low. The bank's key cash rate target has remained at 0.1% after today's RBA board meeting, where it's been since November last year. Next up, over to the US and the OPEC Plus talks. A White House spokesperson stated that the Joe Biden administration is advocating for a compromise solution in the stalled OPEC Plus oil output talks. OPEC Plus ministers called off output talks on Monday after the United Arab Emirates rejected a proposed 8-month extension to curbs on output. With talks stalled, the Biden administration is urging for a compromise that will enable planned production increases to move forward. The world's largest economy is closely monitoring the OPEC Plus negotiations and their effect on the global economic recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. The rising oil prices, which are now at their highest level since 2018, have been fueling inflationary concerns across the world. The Biden administration believes that stable oil market conditions are required to power the economic recovery and meet their goal of reliable and affordable energy. Besides oil, iron ore garnered significant attention in the commodity markets. Iron ore prices climbed on Monday amid improving market sentiment due to the relaxation of restrictions in China's steel-making hub of Tangshan. The most traded September iron ore futures contract on the Dalian Commodity Exchange gained as much as 5.6% to 1,226 yuan per ton, hitting its highest level since June the 11th. At a time when Tangshan has resumed production, speculations are rife that short-term demand will soon return to the pre-centenary level. Another key update coming in is of the world of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrency News website has reported that Bitcoin's mining difficulty rate dropped by around 28% on Saturday, following a major drop in hash rate after China's crackdown on cryptocurrency mining. Bitcoin's hash rate reflects the computation power needed to validate tokens. The Bitcoin algorithm is programmed to self-adjust the difficulty level every 2 weeks so as to maintain a target block time of 10 minutes. China's recent clampdown on crypto mining due to energy concerns has created a huge Bitcoin hash rate deficit across the world. However, experts believe the Bitcoin anomalies expect to remain short-lived as miners are migrating actively out of China to regulatory-friendly nations in North America and Europe. Moving on to the next news now, Japan's household spending results grabbed attention as the country's May household spending growth slowed from the previous month. A recently released government data showed that Japan's household spending grew by 11.6% year-on-year in May, following a 13% surge in April. The pace of growth slowed from the previous month as a new wave of coronavirus infections weighed on consumer confidence. However, the bright spot is that the household spending growth exceeded market expectations of around 10.9% surge. With consumer and business confidence levels taking a hit from measures to stem an increase in coronavirus infections, some analysts fear that the country's economy may fall back into recession in the second quarter of this year. Now it's time for a very short break here on Kalkine TV. Stay with us as I'll be back shortly for some more latest news on Kalkine TV.
Hi, this is Andy Liu broadcasting from Kalkine Media Studio in Australia, and I'll be hosting the new Kalkine Wellness Show. The half-hour show will cover topics from how wellness as a concept has become even more significant during COVID, to how becoming vegan may improve your health, and much more. We are excited to showcase our live streaming show to our audience of millions overseas and in Australia. Tune in to Kalkine TV and join me.
Welcome back. I'm Rachel and you're watching Kalkine TV. This is the Economic Corner Show. Before the break, we discussed trending news in the biggest economies around the world. Let us move on to the next. Another disappointing data that caught attention was India's June services activity, which shrank at its fastest pace in 11 months. The IHS Market Services Purchasing Managers Index plummeted to 41.2 points last month from an already depressed 46.4 points in May. Activity in the country's service sector contracted sharply as tighter restrictions to prevent the spread of COVID-19 cases dampened demand and forced firms to shed jobs at a rapid rate. Moving on to the next news now, markets are eagerly waiting for the US Central Bank's policy meeting minutes due on Wednesday, as the Federal Reserve surprised markets with a hawkish shift in its last meeting. The minutes are expected to provide further clarity on monetary policy going forward. As investors waited for these minutes, gold hovered near a 2-week high level today, helped by a subdued US dollar. The US dollar was mostly steady after plummeting from a 3-month high at the end of last week. Back home, the weekly consumer confidence dropped sharply in Australia. That's according to the ANZ Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence Report. Consumer confidence plunged by 3.9% as several areas across the country remained under a lockdown or with substantial restrictions as the states attempt to prevent the new COVID-19 outbreak. Over the past week, consumer confidence fell to its lowest level since the first week of April. Notably, the current economic conditions sub-index also fell by 7%, with a proportion of individuals expecting good times for the economy less than those anticipating bad times for the first time since April 2021. On the flip side, New Zealand's business confidence fueled optimism while improving sharply in the second quarter. The New Zealand Institute of Economic Research's quarterly survey of business opinion showed that a net 7% of firms surveyed expected general business conditions to improve. This contrasts to a 13% deterioration projected in the previous quarter. The promising business confidence results are suggesting a strong economic recovery over the coming year. These results have sparked speculation of a sooner-than-expected surge in interest rates. The strong business survey also prompted the ASB Bank to pull forward rate hike expectations as soon as November, stimulating gains in the New Zealand dollar. The country's central bank recently hinted at a rate hike as early as September 2022, becoming one of the world's first advanced economies to signal a move away from the stimulatory settings embraced during the coronavirus pandemic. All eyes are now glued on the Reserve Bank of New Zealand's next monetary policy meeting next week. Back home, the Reserve Bank has held official interest rates steady at a record low, but also provided more clues about the future direction of monetary policy. The bank's key cash rate target has remained at 0.1% after today's RBA board meeting, where it has been since November last year. With the global markets beginning to look ahead to monetary policy tightening and the labour market improving rapidly, speculations are rife the central bank will move away from the accommodative policy settings earlier than expected. Well, that's all for now. Keep watching Kalkine TV as we bring you the latest news and trending market updates live from Sydney. I'm Rachel, signing off for now.